Hi, my name is Cameron Ford, and I'm a technical strategist here at VMware on our industry computing team. This is a high-level walkthrough of the latest management pack for Horizon. And in this demonstration, we will cover the high-level feature value benefits of what's included in the management pack. And these value benefits start with the overall API-driven architecture. So what this really means is that from a agent level perspective, the previous management pack required a Horizon broker agent that was installed in the connection server pods, as well as desktop agents that were required to be deployed and maintained throughout the Horizon environment. And with this latest management pack, we've actually removed all of those requirements and components. So really, it's really just the VROPS cluster itself that needs to be deployed. It needs to be configured to talk against your Horizon View environment. And we'll actually leverage the latest Horizon APIs to query and get all the information that's meaningful around that Horizon environment. Additionally, in this management pack, we're actually bringing to the table a new Horizon data model. And in that data model, what we've actually done is we've taken vSphere compute and capacity and performance numbers, and we've directly related them to their Horizon architectural counterparts within the platform. And what this really translates to from a practical perspective is we have a new historical Horizon user data model. So what this means is customers who have, let's say, non-persistent environments where the desktops are very ephemeral, they have users that log into those desktops, we're actually capturing the performance metrics from the virtual machine, from the protocol, and actually mapping them directly to this new historical user object. So from a very tangible perspective, customers will be able to go back in time and they'll actually be able to look at how the users have consumed virtual machine capacity and compute. They'll be able to historically go back and look at what performance bottlenecks occurred in that infrastructure. And they'll also be able to go back and look at their Horizon protocol KPIs to see if there were any issues with latency or packet loss. And then we sort of aggregate all of those KPIs into what we call the new Horizon performance KPI. And in this KPI, we've given our customers the ability to have a historical record of how a user's performance trends over time. So this will be a very meaningful metric for customers. This will really help them to see, as they make changes to the underlying infrastructure, maybe they add more CPU, maybe they add more memory, maybe they improve their data store performance. And as they do so, they now will have a historical record. Is the user's performance getting better or worse over time? So this is a very powerful new metric that we're capturing. But we're also not just leaving that data on the user. So we're actually taking that data and directly relating it to other Horizon architectural components such as pools. So if a user consumes a pool, we'll take their performance metrics, we'll assign them to the pool, and we'll be able to see how pools consume vSphere capacity and compute over time, and we'll be able to see which pools, which pods have the most performance issues. And you will see that throughout today's demonstration. Also with these new KPI models and the metrics that we're assigning to the user, our goal is to be able to leverage these metrics in a much more meaningful way so we can do more Horizon user-based capacity modeling. So the goal here is that, historically speaking, we used to have to look at the user's desktop, and that desktop really had all the information about how well the user desktop was performing. And if their desktop underperformed, their desktop is really the only record that we have of how well it performed over time. With this new model, we've dramatically changed that, right? So we're actually taking the metrics, we're assigning it to the user, and what we want to be able to do with these metrics is to be able to say, okay, is the user in the right size desktop? So this will directly impact customers with non-persistent worlds where, the desktop's very ephemeral, they kind of come and they go, and those desktops themselves do not have any meaningful capacity metrics in them. So we will assign those capacity metrics to the user. We'll be able to go back in time and look how the user's performance and capacity numbers were impacted within, let's say, a 30-day window. And then we can see, was that desktop really right size for them? Was it too big? Was it too small? And now we will have a record to do so and make those more appropriate user capacity-based decisions. But in addition, we're also looking at the utilizations of the pools. So in the past, the only utilization that we had was at the vSphere cluster level. And at a particular vSphere cluster, you could have multiple pools, you have multiple farms. And that made it very difficult for us to tell customers, well, which pool was really consuming the most compute, which one consumed the most memory, which one has the most disk I/O that was being generated. And it also made it really difficult to know how many more users could they get per pool, how many more users they could get per farm because all of the metrics that we were looking at were really more vSphere metrics and not horizon-based metrics. So again, in this new user-based capacity model, we will be able to look at the average utilization per user, per farm, per pool, and be able to estimate how many more users can they get into the farms and into the pools versus just understanding how many more virtual machines can be pushed into the cluster. So again, very different data model than we had in the past. And the other thing that we've done is we've simplified the overall management pack licensing. So in the past, there were two separate licenses. There was a license for the vRealize operations for Horizon adapter, so it had a single license. And then there was also a secondary license to unlock the vRealize appliance. This actually led to a lot of confusions within customers as to which license they needed to apply. It added complexity into like how they did troubleshooting. So if one license wasn't working, certain pieces or data wasn't being collected, and it actually created issues from an overall support perspective. So with this latest management pack, all licensing from a vRops Advanced or Enterprise level now just includes the management pack for Horizon. So there is no separate management pack license moving forward. You only need to be entitled for the correct version of vRops. This will also be supported in vRops Cloud. So if you're looking at running vRops in the cloud versus having to manage it on-prem, that particular platform also supports the latest management pack, and it will be included at no additional charge. Now, in terms of the overall demonstration flow, we recommend starting with just a brief overview of the latest management pack features that were covered in the previous slide. Just briefly touch on architectural considerations, management pack deployment considerations, and also talk about the user data model. But to highlight all of this, we're recommending to showcase three primary dashboards. The first dashboard is the Horizon World User Performance Dashboard. This dashboard is a high-level overview of all the users throughout the environment and what their performance scores are. We then provide you with an overall flow of how to navigate to select a particular user in a particular widget and how the entire dashboard will update to allow you to do a quick root cause analysis of the performance issues impacting that user. Now from there, we also recommend highlighting a little bit more the user data model. So we will click into the actual user object itself to show the new user summary pages. Now, in addition to the user summary pages, there are also summary pages for all Horizon architectural components in the solution. So in the past, if you had a connection server or if you had a user and you clicked on them as an object inside of vRops, you got a very generic page. Moving forward, every Horizon component will have its own summary page. So when you click on it, so you click on a user, you'll get a summary page for a user. You click on a connection server, you'll get a summary page for a connection server that's been tailored for that particular Horizon object. And you can actually show this to the customer as another value point and feature functionality in the latest management pack. From there, I recommend showing the Horizon World VDI Session Performance Dashboard. This takes a completely different perspective. So the Horizon World User Performance Dashboard shows you performance from the user's perspective. What's all of the performance issues impacting the user? The Horizon World VDI Session Performance Dashboard shows you the same KPIs, but it does it from the perspective of Horizon pods, Horizon pools, and then allows you to drill into the user performance issues from that perspective. So we will show you in today's demo how you're able to go from the idea of a pod or a pool that's underperforming, quickly find users that are underperforming in a particular KPI category, and also do a full root cause analysis as to the issues that are impacting that user session. Now from there, it's recommended to discuss with the customer. There's a lot of other available dashboards in the platform. You could talk with them about their primary use cases around monitoring RDS farms or host, and you can actually show them some of the other available out of dashboard depending on their area of focus or area of concern.